Salutations! Welcome to another exciting episode of Articulation Radio. I am your hostess, the eternally grateful Goddess Sage. You know how we do things here at Articulation Radio. We will kick off the top of the day's episode by taking a quick glance at the news headlines. And today's news segment is sponsored by bepublished.org. Here are three of the headlines I saw today, Friday, June 7th, 2019, when visiting elitevaluesnews.com. In entertainment news, the Chicago Blues Festival kicks off today at 5 p.m. and lasts through Sunday at Millennium Park in Chicago, Illinois. In business news, the Technology and Accounting Seminar starts noon today and ends at 5 p.m. at the Red Lion Hotel Bellevue in Bellevue, Washington. And in sports, the Biloxi Shuckers versus the Pensacola Blue Wahoos at 3:30 p.m. today in MGM Park in Biloxi, Mississippi. And those are three of the headlines I saw when visiting elitevaluesnews.com. How about you head on over right now and see what headlines you see?
Looking to get the latest news? Visit Elite Values. EliteValuesNews.com has all the latest news and information. Check out the headlines daily. EliteValuesNews.com for all of your latest news.
Do you want to be published? Are you looking for a high-quality, low-cost way to be published with a fast turnaround? Visit bepublished.org to publish today. www.bepublished.org. bepublished.org. Publish today. Books, movies, and music.
Listeners, we love you, we hear you, and I am definitely glad to see you. I have another exciting show for you today and a special guest in-house. And as you know, I will make that introduction right after I play this song you requested.
I don't want nobody always sitting around me and my man. I don't want nobody
ARTistreview.com. All artists need a platform. The Artist Review makes sure you have the one you need to put your work in front of your fans. ARTistreview.com. Artist, REVUE.com. From arranging art exhibitions to musical performances to radio interviews to so much more, the Artist Review helps your work get seen. ARTistrevue.com. ArtistReview.com.
We kicked off today's episode of Articulation Radio with Love is a Serious Business, that Aretha Franklin Dr. Feelgood cover by Goddess Sage with Jeffrey Morris on the music. Up next, we have for you Strictly Vibes by Signey.
If you're looking for ghostwriters, grant writers, technical writers, any kind of writers, go to the Writers Consortium. Their website is maryjefferson.us, MaryJefferson.us, the Writers Consortium, for all of your writing needs, proposals, grants, academic papers, whatever it is you dream of, ghostwriting. The Writers Consortium can help you achieve your goals.
You are listening to Articulation Radio. Head on over to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts. Have you always wanted to start a business but can't seem to get it off the ground? Call 972-880-8316 for your free initial consultation with a representative from The Conglomerate, or visit theconglomerate.work today to book your consultation in person. Theconglomerate.work, TheConglomerate.work, theconglomerate.work. Call 972-880-8316 to start your new business today.
You have a product? Let them help you increase sales. You have a video? Let them help you make it go viral. Peoplewarmers.com. PeopleWarmers.com for all your advertising, marketing, and promotional needs. They also take care of events planning. Peoplewarmers.com. Visit them today.
On today's episode of Articulation Radio, the topic we will cover is losing to better live. And now you and I both know there are a number of things that could stand to be removed from our lives in order for us to have a more enhanced life or to live our best life. But what I would like for you to do is head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know some of the things that you have already identified as things that could be removed from your life in order for you to have a more enriched life and in order for you to optimize any experiences that you have in life. So go ahead, determine what needs to be loosed in order for you to be able to better live. And we will also be talking with someone today who's able to help you lose some major things so that you can live your best life yet. So when I come back, we are going to have on the line with us Miss Sherene from Evolve 180. So head on over right now, right after you go to articulationmedia.club, and let us know what it is that you know you could lose in order for you to better live. And of course, then head over to evolve180weightloss.com and check out the folks there at Evolve 180, and you'll see exactly what I mean about how these people are able to help you lose some things that will help you live fully, live a more healthy life, as well as, of course, live a more fulfilled life by being happy with yourself and the body you're in. Head over to evolve180weightloss.com as well as articulationmedia.club and let us know what it is other than that bad weight that you know that you could be losing out of your life, as well as the bad talking that you do to yourself. Let us know what it is that you're willing to cut out of your life just so that you can have your life to just roll a lot better.
Want to buy stocks, jewels, real estate, or other high-end items? Would you love to be able to contribute to charitable initiatives but cannot do these things with the money you currently have? Join Regal City Investment and Social Club, where you can pool money each month with other investors to make major purchases, give to the needy, and possibly turn a profit. www.regalcity.xyz. Become a Regal citizen today by joining Regal City Investment and Social Club. regalcity.xyz.
Articulate Radio is so pleased to have on the line with us today Miss Sherene from Evolve 180.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
So happy to have you here. And now tell everyone real quick about Evolve 180, which I'm sure as you all already know because you've already gone to that website. And so tell everyone all about Evolve 180 and how you can help them transform their lives and become the best versions of themselves.
Well, Evolve 180 is life path. I have personally struggled with my weight, and I've come from a family where metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes and obesity have been chronic most of our lives. And when I started to figure out for myself what it was that was working to actually solve my weight loss or to solve my weight problem and create weight loss that was healthy, I decided that because it was changing my life so much, I really wanted to share it with other people. In 2012, I teamed up with a physician friend of mine, Dr. Karen Shepard, and we launched a weight loss clinic. And over time, it's changed a little bit. We've worked a little while to come up with the very best of the best using modern nutritional science and current technology to figure out all the pieces that belong in the puzzle, and that continually changing and updating process turned into what is now Evolve 180, which is an accumulation of decades of knowledge of some of the best minds out there, some of the best doctors out there, and myself and all of my team.
Very good. And I know that pretty much what you all do is you work with individuals one-on-one, and you even assure that not only do they get the increased activity that they need, as well as, of course, any, I would say, assistance with kind of moving some of those things around, but also you make sure that
people have the chance, for those who are on things like the keto diet, for instance, you make sure that the meals that they eat will keep them on track. Can you, for those who are like, oh, well, I've tried different things and people say it won't cut into what I'm doing, can you, for those who are feeling like, well, a little uncertain because they've had the hit and misses and they've had the promises and, they feel like maybe things were compromised. Can you let the listeners know how you are able to help them stick to what they already have in place that's working? Including the keto diet.
Right. It's the funny thing about the title, The Keto Diet, is that it's such a confusing term, because being in the state of ketosis really just means that your body's burning fat instead of glucose for energy. And there's a certain, there's multiple levels of ketosis. Some of them are more beneficial than others, and it really depends on your personal goal. So what we do when someone comes in is we sit down and we take a look at what they've done before. We take a look at the list of symptoms that they're coming in with. It might simply be, needing to lose 10 or 15 pounds. It might be needing to lose 100 or 150 pounds. That means we've got more than one body type that we're evaluating, and different bodies need different solutions. Some folks can really do well with the, moderate cut in carbohydrates, which can be a version of the keto diet. Other people have to go so deep into ketosis that they might need some intermittent fasting where they're not eating anything and their body's burning nothing but fat, and everything in between. And so what's right for one person is not right for every person, and that's part of why people come away so discouraged in this industry. You see something work for one person and you're hoping it's going to work for you. You go out and you do everything exactly the way that they did it, and your body might not respond the same way. So that doesn't necessarily mean that you did anything wrong. It means you probably have a different metabolic type than they do. And that's why, it's really hard to, having been a consumer,
one size fit all.
Yeah, and having been a consumer of the diet industry my whole life, it's hard not to be a little jaded and to feel like the system's rigged. The industry runs on shame, and it runs on failure. They make more money when we don't succeed, because we come back and we try again and we blame ourselves and we're like, oh, we must have just not done it hard enough or right enough. But the truth is if we've done the wrong program, it doesn't matter how well we did it. If it's the wrong program, it still won't work for us. So I try to think of it as maybe innocent, that what does work for some people really does work for them. And it's not that there's, necessarily cheating or whatever going on in the industry to try to bilk us out of money. But I think it also has to do with just not knowing. There's not a lot of medical training about metabolism and weight loss. It's been looked at as a very simplistic problem, and it's really not. It's quite a complex metabolic imbalance.
Wow. And do you think that, because of course we so often, when it comes down to pretty much most things that are health related, a lot of times we'll end up reading studies where they're like, the person's mentality plays a part in this. Positive thinking can cure cancer, or, your religious belief can, make your tumor disappear. Can those types of concepts also be applied to weight loss, weight management, achieving a healthy body? Does positive thinking or our faith or views play a part in this?
Well, a couple of really good points you hit on there. First of all, I'm going to backtrack to the first thing you said about having read studies. You sometimes when you're reading, you have to really ask yourself, where did that study come from? Who funded it?
Mm-hmm.
Why were they doing it? And where does the dollar flow go?
Right.
Because I think that there's a lot of studies out there that are engineered by, large pharmaceuticals, large agricultural, and other kinds of massive multi-billion-dollar industry lobbyists that influence. So, they kind of know what they want the study to say. So I'm always really skeptical, and I try to understand where the biases may be in those studies. But with that said, I think that, when it comes to issues related to weight, it's a metabolic imbalance, but it tends to lead to emotional imbalances. So let's say you start out with a problem with carbohydrates, and your body doesn't handle them very well, so your body tends to flip over into weight gain mode, which honestly in ancient times it probably was a superpower, because it meant that those of us with this metabolic type would survive famines and ice ages and winters. Our body's ability to store fat used to be a massive biological advantage. But nowadays, not so much in our current culture, in our current food situation. But when your body is wired to be that way, it's associated with neurochemicals that create strong desire for the foods that flip you into fat storage mode. And when that strong desire is present, it starts to create dependency, almost in the same way that chemical drugs interact with your mind. And you can end up with brain chemistry that is really, in a craving state or in almost an addictive state. Now, when you flip into that addictive relationship with food, then you do have some other work to do that's not just biological. That's where, you have to understand and have some self-awareness and engage your mental, emotional, and spiritual tool set to find better ways to, feed your brain, feed your body, feed your spirituality that can lift you out of that dependency, because I think everybody can fall into it. Climbing out is a whole different story, and it's not just biological at that point.
Right, and we people, and don't forget too how we all are humans, and of course, and we know that with that, we are creatures of habit. And it's real easy for us to start duplicating or, to keep a bad habit going. How does the phrase say, slow change is something that's slow to come, when it's something that you're trying to improve upon, but when it's a new bad thing, they're quick to be applied to our lives, but a little bit harder for us to get out of our lives. And now for those of you who want to have the opportunity to go ahead and get a consultation, do a one-on-one, Sherene, how can they reach out to you, and what would be the best steps for them to take?
Oh, that's a great question. We are at this point in Washington State in the Bellevue area. We are looking to expand in the next couple of years. We've got such demand that we're going to have multiple locations up and down the I-5 corridor, so anywhere from Bellingham down to Olympia. So we're very excited about that. But right now,
congratulations.
Thank you. So we do remote coaching now. We have a way of being able to send people the supplies they need and give them the coaching remotely if that is something they're interested in. The best way to find out more about us is to go to our website, which is www.evolve180weightloss.com. And that has all of our contact information, and the main phone number is 425-442-5626. And we just love working with everyone. Oh, sorry, I think that's my alarm going off. Hold on one second.
Oh, no, you're fine. And, of course, people, while she's handling that, head on over to that website right now, evolve180weightloss.com, evolve180weightloss.com. And give them that phone number again, Sherene.
Sure, it's 425-442-5626.
And what kind of clients are your ideal clients? Like, what should they be ready to do by the time they reach out to you? And, of course, you all know, number one, before you call her, write down the questions that you already know you want to ask, so that way you won't risk forgetting any questions. But, Sherene, what type of mentality should they already have, or what should they be ready for by the time they call?
Well, one of the things that we really appreciate is a client who's kind of exhausted all their other options and they're ready to really look at what will work. I have people who start with a mindset that says, I already know everything, and I might just kind of want a few tips, but we all come into this with a whole bunch of misunderstandings. There's so much bad information out there about, quote, keto, end quote, and what you can and can't do on that program. We're experts at it. We know the tiny things that you can do that are just enough wrong to derail the entire process. And what we appreciate are people who really let us coach them into what is really right and are just ready to surrender to the process. Because what we found is that people who are teachable come out of it with tools that they never lose. What our goal is for clients is that they come in, they do this once, they take advantage of our free ongoing maintenance support, and they never need us again. And that all of our clients come from people who are watching our clients succeed long term, and they want to know what they did. And that's how all of our new people come to us. So our clients
That's
are teachable,
beautiful.
and they're open.
Yes, and people, and of course, as you already know, it's always great to be a great listener. And of course, you know, I always tell you, do not be a forgetful listener. And most of all, to apply the things that you're learning. And of course, as you already hear, Evolve 180 is set up already to help get you on that path if you're not already there. And for those of you who are, wonderful, reach out right now, evolve180weightloss.com. Head over to the website now, book your consultation. And of course, as you know, they do provide the telephonic consultations. They also have it set up where they will communicate with you via email as well, but you need to go in, retain them, become a client, join one of their programs, but most importantly, be open to hearing that advice and learning, because at the end of the day, the whole point is so that you can lose the weight that you no longer want to keep carrying around with you. And for those of you who have already gotten on a path to where you jump-started your weight loss, to where you have that fat burning going, you want to keep it on that path. You do not want to plateau, because, of course, we all know how discouraging that could be, and how sometimes you can try to come up with all these different things to try to get you back on track or to get you back revved up, and it doesn't seem to work. But the good thing is that Sherene and the great folks over at Evolve 180 have you covered. So all you have to do is just reach out and make it happen. And let me ask you, Sherene, what kind of budget should they be looking at, and any special set time that they need to be sure to set aside for the program? Will it require X number of hours of working out a week, or X number of hours of preparing meals? What should they be prepared for budget-wise in order to retain your services, and what kind of time should they be ready to devote in order to assure that the program is a success for them?
Well, that's a really great question. And the first part of the answer is that as far as the preparation and the visits and the time that you spend actually interfacing with the coaches and exercising, I would say if somebody were, so the meeting that itself takes about 15 or 20 minutes once you've been trained and are up and running. But in that meeting comes all the coaching, so that we've given you all the steps, and then we're just course correcting. We're looking at what you're doing, and are you on track and losing weight as fast as we expect you to, and feeling as good as we expect you to. And if you're not, then we just tweak things a little bit. We customize this program for every single individual person that comes in. So 15, minutes, depending on where you're driving from, of course, leave time for that. And I would say about an hour a week to really make sure you've done the right shopping and some vegetables and get the things, ready for the week that you're going to need to be prepared. Exercise, we can work with people who are on every end of the spectrum. Some of our people start with no exercise and build up to it. Others are over-exercising, and we taper them down to something that will be workable with the food plan that they're choosing. Each person decides for themselves, based on an array of choices, which direction they're going to take. And, all the studies that appear unbiased seem to say that the very most important thing with a weight loss program these days is to have something sustainable. And, of course, that's different for each person. Some people love to cook, other people not so much. And so we can work with everyone with whole foods or with, some really important supplements. There are a variety of ways to make this very individualized for each person. That's why the issue of, what the budget will be is a little bit difficult to answer just,
right.
dead on.
Some will require more than others will require because it's so customized.
Right, exactly. But what we've noticed is that when you do any research and you compare what we do, especially how deeply we do it and how customized it is, it's about half the price, honestly, of what other local major, well-known radio advertising kinds of companies are.
Yes, I know what you mean. And I'm sure that the listeners know exactly what you mean, too. They have some of the names popping in their heads, so at least you know it's a little bit more affordable than that.
By half, if not, really close to that. And the reason is that this is it's pretty straightforward, simple process. The affordability just doesn't need to be prohibitive. And I personally feel like it should be something accessible to everybody. And when you begin to eat the way that we teach you, most of us find that our food budget changes a lot. We're not eating out as much, or if we're going to Starbucks or we're going to a restaurant, what we're choosing is pretty different. We're not impulse shopping. Most of the processed foods we're buying, which are the expensive ones, are significantly lower. And some of us who've done our budgets when we are on the protocol and looked at the numbers, we realize even when we're paying for the protocol, we're saving money over what we were spending before. And that is God's honest truth.
That's encouraging.
A little bit of math, and then you understand that, not only are you saving money while you're making your body healthier, but you're learning lifelong skills that you can have those kinds of savings and health benefits for the rest of your life. And then a lot of people go on medications, and they don't need as many painkillers or, over-the-counter remedies or, it's just amazing the way that when the body starts to become properly fed, that a lot of the pain and inflammation and chronic challenges that make us overconsume things that soothe us go away.
Right. What is there that you have not had a chance to share with the listeners that you would like to be sure to inform them of? Any particular tips on how to live better, or anything you've not had a chance to cover yet that you'd like to be sure to express for them?
Absolutely, because you just reminded me of something that I sometimes forget to talk about, but it's become such a profound part of this for me. I'm absolutely in the same boat where if I'm exposed or I expose myself to, something really sugar sweetened or concentrated carbohydrates, chips or ice cream or chocolate or just even really good bread, it's like all of those things, they act in my system like something, oh my God, I can't think of anything else. My brain becomes obsessed with it. If I walk through, if I go to a meeting, for instance, I used to work at Microsoft, and when I would sit in a meeting, a lot of people would bring bagels and muffins. I'd sit there and those would be calling to me while I was in the meeting, and I'd be fantasizing about how many of those I could leave with, as opposed to listening to what was going on. It really invades your mind. And what I noticed when I first discovered this way of eating was something later I've nicknamed food peace. And for those of us who had never experienced it before, it's quite astonishing. So once I was on a very low carb plan, and that's different for each person, how far you need to go. When I'd gone properly into the state of ketosis, deeply enough for my body, it took about 5 days. And on the other side of that, and you have to balance your protein and your fats. It's not just carbohydrates. You have to do this right.
Right.
But once you're on the other side of that, and your glycogen stores are completely depleted, and you've really gone into this fat burning state, your appetite disappears in a way that, if you've not experienced it before, can be almost scary. It's like, what happened? And I remember the first few times that I experienced this. The first time was very profound, but the second time was even better because I was like, wow, this is repeatable. There's a formula to making my mind calm down and quiet itself from craving. And it's not that I didn't think about those kinds of foods again at all. I did all the time. That's a habit as well. But my body wasn't having this feeling of like, I have to go get some right now. And when you quiet the body's cravings, even if the mind's cravings are still there, that's something you can work with. So that is one of the things that it's part of our gauge as to how well the program is working for somebody. You're supposed to not be hungry. we end up having to talk people into eating half the food that they are required to eat on this program in order to properly sustain their muscle mass and their minimum requirements for fat and things like that. But they're so not hungry that becomes like, oh my God, is it time to eat again? You just don't expect that on a diet. And that's how it works if it's working properly. And it takes a different level for every person, which is why the coaching is so critical to make sure it's happening, because you won't know it yourself until you're far enough in it that it's working well. So yeah, that's my favorite part.
And that sounds like a good place to be, in a perfect position to get surprised in, like, oh, is it working? I don't see anything. And then all of a sudden you look or you feel, you're like, well, I do feel a difference. I do see a difference. And, oh, I can zip these pants that I haven't been able to zip, or slide on this skirt that I couldn't slide in a couple of weeks ago.
And I wasn't hungry, and, I've been eating properly for my body, and it's been fuel instead of obsession. It's so amazing.
Yes. And I would imagine, too, that, once we go ahead, people, and get our bodies fed the proper foods and go ahead and get that fat-burning process kicked in and, keep it going, that naturally we'll be craving more water as well as the healthier foods that we're putting in our bodies. Good. And so people do head on over, because I know you wanted to have no more. You want to be able to have the opportunity for this one-on-one coaching that you need to not only get your life at the healthiest state that it can possibly be in, but to most immediately know exactly what you need to do to even start reversing some of the diseases and sicknesses that are related directly to your diet. So let's go ahead and take a charge of our health. Head on over to evolve180weightloss.com right now. Go ahead and press that contact button. Go ahead and retain, get everything scheduled. And in the meantime, I am going to play a few more songs for you all to keep the show rolling. But Miss Sherene, thank you so much for coming on to Articulation Radio and sharing with the listeners some of this valuable information from Evolve 180.
Well, thank you for having me. This has been a pleasure. I look forward to doing it again sometime.
Yes, ma'am, and you are more than welcome to come back, because listeners, remember now, Evolve 180 is expanding. They currently have locations in Bellevue, Washington, but they are expanding all up and down the state of Washington. So be sure to be on the lookout and on the listen out for when they're going to be opening up a location right there in your city. But in the meantime, you already know exactly where to go, evolve180weightloss.com. Articulation Radio, thanks you so much for listening. So head on over right now to articulationmedia.club and let us know your thoughts on today's episode. In the meantime, we're going to keep the show rolling for you.
Weddings are expensive, but your love is worth it. Go to marryusnow.us to book the Minister of Love to officiate your wedding today. The fee is only $200 if your wedding is in the city of Chicago, and there's only a small fee to get the Minister of Love to travel outside of Chicago to your wedding location. Book the Minister of Love today. Visit marryusnow.us. That's marryusnow.us.
Up next is $1 Million Bill 1 by Anders Bothen.
frequently shop online and you're looking for a new place to shop? Join the club, JeffersonTaylor.club, where models, designers, inventors, and other creators offer customers the best products at fair prices. Jefferson Taylor, JeffersonTaylor.club. Join the club. Shop today, JeffersonTaylor.club.
Oh, now we are down to the part of the show that I hate. Oh, I actually cringe at this part. Can you, see me grimacing right now? Ugh. But, of course, you know what this is. This is the close of today's episode of Articulation Radio. I gotta say, as well as the rest of the staff here, thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. We encourage you to go to articulationmedia.club. Let us know what you think about today's episode as well as past episodes. And while you are there, be sure to ensure your music, your ads, and even your sponsorship of an episode are taken care of before you leave that site. So go to articulationmedia.club right now. Let us know what you think about the episodes. Listen to past episodes. Re-listen to this episode. And make sure that your music and ads are played on upcoming episodes of Articulation Radio. We so thank you. I love you. I look forward to seeing you soon, hearing from you soon, and most importantly, celebrating you soon. In the meantime, keep being a doer, keep being a move maker, and keep making things pop.
Articulation Radio. Articulationmedia.club.
How long have you been sitting on that manuscript? It's time to move it forward. Stop talking. Bepublished.org. 972-880-8316.
Articulation Radio. Articulationmedia.club.